Hi friends, I'm Shauna Yorty. Thanks for being a part of this project with us with the ONA mural that we're going to work on today. So the message that we're sending is come let us join our lights together, and we're going to make a sun and some lettering. And so I know it's some of y'all's first time doing a project like this, and so I'm going to just run through it step by step with you. And if you have any questions, you can just reach out to me. So the first thing we want to do when we get on the site is make sure we have all of the gear that's in your materials list, and make sure that you do safety first. So wear closed-toed shoes, and if you're using a step stool or a ladder, make sure that you have safety in mind and don't take any steps without looking at your feet. Also make sure that you have a drop cloth or any kind of protection that you need on the property. I don't have it right now because I'm not gonna make a mess. Anyway, so the first step that you want to do then, once you're ready to go, is get your handy dandy sprayer filled with the window cleaner. You don't want to put paint onto a dirty window. So, oopsie, wrong side. So just shush it on like that, sort of how you do at the gas station with your car. Okay, good show. Great, step one is done. I like to have a plastic garbage bag with me the whole time, because if it's windy on the day that you're working, your paper towels will fly away. So get a plastic bag that you can hook on something. Okay, then we get out our white marker. And when you first start these markers, they're tricky, they don't have any paint on them. And so you have to use a scrap piece of cardboard or newspaper or paper or something. I'm just using the inside of the box because I have it with me, and so will you. And so you just want to press down on that a bunch of times until it has paint on the tip. And then you'll know that it's ready. It'll have paint on the tip, and it'll also start pouring out like that. You want to have your design, and you can print it out or however you want to do it. Here I have it on my iPad. You want to try to get your center point for the circle first. That's how I start, and then work my way out. Excuse me. And there's a couple different ways you can do that. If you're working on a really small surface and you have a good eye for positioning, you could just use your fingers and come in like this and say that that's your middle. If you don't, and you'd rather do math, then you can use your handy dandy yardstick and measure. This is 25, so half of that is what, 12 and a half. So that's your center. And that's how you know, boop. And so then you just make a little tiny mark there in the center. And then the first step is going to be to make that middle circle. You can also use math to make the circle if you want. I'm not a huge fan of math. So I use a string. So I put the tip of the string on the center here. And then I figure out, is that the size circle I want? And I think that it is. If you do like this, you'll get a bigger circle. If you do like that, you'll get a way bigger circle. I think I want my circle to be, my center circle needs to be about this big. So I'm gonna put my marker there at that spot, and I'm just gonna run it around. And be careful not to move your center point here. Oh, I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. That's the fun thing about this project, is you're not going to be perfect. And this is just a sketch. You can just remove that center point with your fingernail then. Okay. Next thing, we can use a yardstick. You can use your yardstick, or if you have any of these, you can use these. It depends on the size of your window. If you have a really big window, you're going to need a yardstick. If you have a small window like I'm working with right now, a paint stirrer works really well for that. The same thing's going to happen here, where we're going to just use the stick and draw our lines with that. Okay, nice and thin. So if you notice, this marker has a fat side and then a skinny side. So for this point, we're just using the skinny side. Let's see if that's right. So then we'll just connect these. I didn't do it right. I gotta do it again. Oh, this is a great example of when people ask, like, if we mess up, what do? This is what you do. You just laugh about it and then scrape it off. So this little razor blade that I put in the materials list is excellent. It doesn't work, as you can see, that well if the paint is still wet, but once it's dry, it just scrapes right off.
If people are worried about scraping the windows, is there any advice for that, or does it not?
The only thing that will happen there is that, like, if the window is not glass, if the window is like a plexiglass or something, then it could scratch. But this one that I recommended has a plastic one too. And so if you have a plexiglass, you can use, or if you're not sure, you can use the plastic one, because that's not going to be as harsh on the window. And the plastic one does work well too. And we'll just give a little wipe to that section. And I will count better. Da, 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 da. Look, I did that on purpose so that everybody would see what it looks like to make a mistake. I'm changing my mind and I'm gonna make dots on here. Good. Like sometimes if I don't know, I just like to sketch stuff instead and make like little anchor points where things will be, because now if that's wrong, all I'd have to do is scrape that off and make another little guy instead of spending all that time cleaning all those lines off. You know, you don't have to fuss when you clean the lines off. It's easy to clean them off, but also you don't want to spend time doing that 6 times, right? So, so yeah, that looks better to me. And so now I'm going to use my paint stick like we did before. And I am, as an artist, a mess, and I am fine with that. And I make a lot of mistakes, and I just clean it up at the end and I fix it as I go. And it's part of my practice in my life to allow myself to not be perfect. None of this is permanent and none of it is super fancy, and we're all just having a good time. If I were here trying to put a lot of pressure on myself to make it perfect, I don't feel like I could shine my light as bright into this project, and I want to be able to put my love into it. And my love certainly isn't perfect either. So that looks much better to me. Then we're going to lay out where the letters are going to be. In the design I have, it says, "Come, let us join." But in this case, I have a really skinny window and I don't know that I can fit that. So I'm going to make an executive decision that I'm going to put "come" here and then "let us join" here. That's fine. That's fine if you need to do that. If you have a huge window, you know, you can expand it and do the whole line as one. So again, you can math this out. The way that I do it is I know what my middle is, again, because it's here, straight up from this, and you can use your yardstick to make that point if you want, and measure out from the sides and make sure that you're at 12.5 if you want to, or you can just say, you know, that's the middle point there. So the center of "come" is going to be between the O and the M. So I'll put my O here, my C here, my M here, and my E here. Then I'm going to step back and look at that, and that looks great. And then the center of "let us join" is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So L and N are 1, E and I are 2, moving in T and O are 3, U and J are 4, so the S is a 5. You also want to account for like about a half a space in between these, in between words, excuse me. But since we have a half a space on this side and a space on this side and a space on this side, they even out. So the S is the center. For the sake of the video, I'm not going to put all of the words in. You will when you're doing this job. But the bottom words will work the same as the top. If you have enough space to line them out how I have them in the design, go for it. If you need to make them skinnier, if it needs to say our lights together, or however you need to put that in, go ahead and work that out in the amount of space that you have. In this space, I would put our lights here and then together at the bottom, which is how I have it on the design. But you may have a much skinnier space and you might need to do it one word at a time. So use your discretion on that. So if you have any questions or anything at all, don't hesitate to reach out. You can email me. My email is slyorty, yorty, @gmail.com.